We are often asked, when should I get my intangible assets valued? If I'm not planning an exit or a capital raise, is this stuff really relevant? In reality, there are many instances in which a valuation can be relevant to a business during its ordinary course of operations. Take, for example, a company that is looking to enter into a joint venture or is considering a merger or acquisition. In these scenarios, a question often arises around the relative value of the intangible assets each party is bringing to the table. A company can do itself a significant disservice if it doesn't understand or isn't able to articulate the value of its intangible assets. I'll give you an example to demonstrate why intangible assets are so critical in this type of scenario. We were approached by a publicly traded company that was entering into a joint venture with a much larger US company. The joint venture was valued at $50 million, with $25 million in cash being contributed by both parties. As we looked into the terms of the agreement, we pointed out to our client that they were contributing more than cash. They were also bringing highly valuable intangible assets to the table. But as they weren't on the balance sheet, they were being overlooked and weren't being taken into account in the JV discussions. Due to the value of these assets, we advised our client that they should adjust the cash component of the transaction if they were expected to put the intangible assets into the joint venture. To support this argument, we provided a full valuation of the intangible assets contributed by our client and also those bought by the counterparty. Now, the counterparty had absolutely no interest in accepting this valuation because it knew it would affect the amount of cash it had to contribute, and initially they rejected the valuation. We said, okay, please tell us where the valuation is wrong and why these intangible assets are not important to the JV. Then we can agree on what they are worth. The counterparty came back and advised that these assets were why they wanted to do the joint venture in the first place, and ultimately they agreed with the valuation of the assets that we had provided. The result for our client was that instead of needing to contribute $25 million in cash, they only needed $3 million. The rest of our client's contribution came from its intangible assets, while the counterparty ended up contributing $47 million in cash. This was a fantastic outcome for our client, saving it $22 million in cash, and it was all down to the value of the company's intangible assets, which were completely off balance sheet and which would otherwise have been ignored in the course of the joint venture. This is an excellent example of why, even during business as usual, it is important to understand the value of the intangible assets you own, as they can have a profound impact on the value of your business.